right. Shalom, shalom. Just give me a second. And we'll go ahead and get started, with the lesson. As you can see, I'm in transit, riding and edifying. Gotta go to work, man. Hey, but not for too much longer. Yeah, I don't want to rot this shit completely, just break down and shut down, so we don't have to labor anymore. Get up 4:35 in the morning, bust your ass, just to obtain that daily bread. But hey, first and foremost, as always, I want to give all the praises, the honor, the glory, the exaltation unto the true power of heaven and earth, whose name is Yahweh, and I'd like to do so, Hashem, Hamashiach Yahushai, Yahweh, which means he to be or he exists, and his name is one. It tells us that in the book of Zechariah, the 14th chapter. We're coming to the time in which there ain't gonna be no speculation, no debate upon what the true name of the Heavenly Father nor his Son is, and it's not going to be any speculation about who the true Israelites are, which the true Israelites are the so-called black and indigenous peoples here in the Western Hemisphere. Now we understand, according to biblical prophecy, we're dispersed throughout the four winds of heaven, the four corners of the earth, yet by and large, and this is according to prophecy, the book of Hosea in the 1st chapter, we're being classified as a particular group of people, so-called black people here in America, which we are from the tribe of Judah, so-called black people over there in the Caribbean, with the exception of AD, they're from the tribe of Benjamin. So-called Haitians are from the tribe of Levi. Their brethren, pursuant to the prophecy in Genesis, the 49th chapter, are the so-called Dominicans, who are of the tribe of Simeon. All right, the head tribe of the northern kingdom, going back in history, is the tribe of Ephraim, which are considered today so-called Puerto Ricans. So those of us of quote-unquote black and indigenous descent here in the Western Hemisphere, we are by and large the Israelites. And Esau, he's going to do everything he can to block us. Hey, there's a lot of censorship taking place right now. And it started even before this whole Israel and Hamas flare up. Now, as I've spoken on a few times up there in Canada, Trudeau, he passed a law requiring anybody that's broadcasting to register with the government. So they want oversight over everything. And they did that to try to get around these different platforms. Hey, because with YouTube, which is owned by Google, they can just go ahead and deplatform you, flag your videos, as they've been doing to us, starting with my immediate elders at GMS. I remember when I was learning back in 2008, 2009, before I started committing myself to the ministry, as soon as they would put up a page, they didn't even put up a video, they would just take down the page, showing you that Esau Ben had the drop on us with what he calls black Hebrew Israelites, which were just Hebrew Israelites, which happen to be what you would consider black people and what you would consider brown people, which there's no such thing as a black person. We're all different shades of brown. You have certain brothers that are dark brown, you have those that are medium brown, and then you have those that are lighter brown. And you have Israelites that are pale. You have Israelites that have leprosy, that look just like so-called white people. And that's going to be a big stumbling block for this devil. How are you going to get around that one? How are you going to get around these Israelites that look to be to be Moabites, that look to be even Amalekites? Hey, because you got brothers that point out, hey, this man right here, I believe this is an Israelite. He got a goddamn yarmulke on and them fake ass bushy locks. But brothers will say, hey, through the spirit, I believe he's an Israelite. So there's no way you're gonna stop the charge of the Heavenly Father's elect, and there's no way you're gonna stop yourself from being destroyed. And with Esau, he's fighting tooth and nail. And people aren't just going to willingly bow out of power. Nah, man, they're gonna fight vehemently to maintain. And that's the time that we're in. I mean, this is ramping up quickly. As a matter of fact, can some brothers help me out with Revelation 12 and 12, Job 14 and 5, and Job 18 and 17 on to like 2021, because that's the time that we're in. We're in the time of Esau delivering counter blows. Hey, because this truth has been beating his ass, man. This truth has been like a knockout punch. Hey, but his ass keep getting off the mat, and now he launching this little counteroffensive, and he's using what's going on over there in our homeland as a pretext to crack down on whom? So-called black people. Because who is he targeting right now heavily? Black Lives Matter. And they're using that as a segue to come to whom? The Hebrew Israelites. Well, look, this is like Hitlerism. This is like extermination, which Black Lives Matter, they haven't stated the extermination of the so-called Jews, but who has? The Heavenly Father. And who has delivered the message? Us. So let me go ahead and grab these precepts and the Wadi Habashim Yashah for you, Akim. As always, I pray the lesson is edifying, exhorting, and comforting. So this is the book of Shalom to all of you. Brother Khayab, my brother Yuwatazah, brother Ra'ab, Yawanathan, brother Malak La'ab, brother Shamgar, sister Athena, Enos, all of y'all. Karatazah, Yawanathan, Yashman Shabakathum. So yeah, let's grab this in the book of Psalms 83, verse 2. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult. And that's what's happening. Everybody's making a tumult. A tumult, another way of saying a tumult is a riot. And everybody's real flustered right now, and everybody has strong opinions concerning what's taking place over there in the quote-unquote Middle East and West Asia. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head, right? And all these nations got a problem with the Heavenly Father. We were speaking on yesterday how the leader of Hamas, in his reprobate mind, he thinks that he's going to spread Islam throughout the four corners of the earth. And that's the main thing that your ass is imagining. And they imagine that because they got a problem with the Heavenly Father. Here it is, even within the Quran, which is their unholy book. That's the book that they pertain unto, you know, for quote unquote spiritual guidance, as well as the Old Testament. They regard the Old Testament as a holy book, but in their reprobate mind, the Quran supersedes that. Now, even within the Quran and the surahs, it states that the chosen people are the children of Israel. And guess what? Them so-called Arabs, they know that we're the Israelites. And they'll actually tell you, if you put the screws to them, they'll actually admit it. But they're not going to tell us when they post up in our neighborhood selling us liquor because they want to be over us. You see, the Heavenly Father, he's bringing all of the joint rulership of Esau and the other nations to an end. Because although Esau's jacking them up, he still looks at us as lower than them. And he still gives them little crumbs. Despite the fact that he'll beat their ass, put them in outdoor concentration camps, he still looks at us as inferior to even them Ishmaelites. And they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people. And Esau, he's taking crafty counsel right now. Because you would think they would concentrate on these so-called Arabs. But they concentrate on who? Black people. Black Lives Matter. That fucking rat. Yeah, what's his name? Levine. He used to be on that court show with the so-called Cuban woman, and he runs TMZ. That damn devil. May Habashim Yashah destroy him. You had him, and you had that Sambo right along with him, talking about, well, Black Lives Matter needs to denounce the attack on our people and what happened to the woman and the children. See, this is all a play to come against us. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against us, right? So all of the tribes of Esau, they're confederate against us, and you got these other nations, these heathen nations, they're with it as well. They want to cut off the name of Israel, meaning they don't want us to acknowledge ourselves to be Israelites, because this is really affecting the world. Because what's the whole premise of them so-called Jewish people being over there? Well, that's their ancestral homeland. But we go to Zechariah 9 and 6, we go to Revelation 2 and 9, Revelation 3 and 9, we go to Ezekiel 35th chapter, the 10th verse on down, leading into the 36th chapter, and it clearly outlines how there's going to be the Edomites that occupy our land. So that right there proves that those are the Edomites. You might say, well, look, man, the Edomites could be the Arabs. Well, who the hell came out red all over like a hairy garment? They called his name what? Esau. That don't fit the so-called Arabs. Now, who's a man of the field? That fits you so-called white people. Whose blessing is the sword? That fits you so-called white people. You conquered with the sword, and that's the blessing, according to prophecy, that Isaac gave Esau. And you're living in your blessing. But guess what? You're at the end of it. And you're mad. They're like, Cameron, you mad. You mad because you're being exposed. And going back in history, you had Gamal Abdel Nasser. He's infamous for that statement concerning them so-called Jewish people. We cannot accept you because you left here black and returned white. So all those people over there know what time it is. So what black people are they identifying as the Israelites? Black people over there in Sudan putting their head up a cow's ass to get pissed on and dye their hair? Them? No, the so-called black people over here that fulfill Deuteronomy the 28th chapter, the 15th through the 68th verse. And because this is becoming common knowledge, and I've actually had Palestinians, a beautiful Palestinian woman in particular, she came up and said, hey, look, out of all the sects, religious sects, this one makes the most truth. I mean, the most sense, because this is the truth. That resonated with her, despite the fact that she's of a heathen nation. She still acknowledged that, well, yeah, that makes sense. Y'all are the strongest people. Everybody follows you. Everybody copies you. But you're at the bottom. Y'all did go here in slavery. You have been stripped of your language, your customs. This all fulfills us. I mean, I should say we fulfill all of these prophecies. Job 14:5. And so Esau, seeing the great awakening of the Israelites, he know that his time is up. It's like it says here in the book of Job 14:5, seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass, right? But we see Esau, he's rebellious. He thinks somehow, some way he can eclipse and he can supersede the bounds which Heavenly Father has put upon him, which is why he's pushing this transhuman agenda. And guess what? A lot of our people and a lot of these heathens, they're with it. It ain't just Esau. You got these heathens that are with it. I just trained this Elamite before I trained the so-called Jew, and the Wadi Al-Bashin Shai, for allowing me to train them online, because I started training them both in person. Hey, but I was able to finesse it through the spade. Is he not so named Jacob? Which means a supplanter. I was able to supplant it so that I could just train them from the comfort of my home or go to a gym. But she was speaking about Elon Musk. I guess he got some biography out right now, and she's commending the guy. And she's commending the man for his thought process. So you got these people. They're on board with the quote unquote New World Order, and she's on board with supporting them so-called Jews. See, Esau has successfully caused these people to adapt his mindset. But see, who hasn't adopted his mindset? The Israelites. The Israel of the Heavenly Father. So now he's gonna what? He's gonna come down with great wrath, and he's just using Black Lives Matter as a stepping stone. As we've been saying, you know, all the different brothers have been saying that they're going to use Black Lives Matter. They're going to use NFAC, the Not Fucking Around Coalition, headed by Grandmaster Jay. They're gonna use even you wayward Israelites that are out there with guns at camp. They're going to use that as a pretext to crack down on the truth, which the word is the truth, pursuant to St. John 17:17. But see, the beautiful thing is we understand that when the famine of the word is instituted, that's because the elect has been sealed, pursuant to Revelation the 7th chapter, because that's what's really preventing the destruction. If a brother can grab that, Revelation 7:1-4. So it's actually a beautiful thing to see Esau implementing all these draconian laws that restrict free speech. You got over there in the UK, they'll arrest you for waving a Palestinian flag, because in the time of war, that's when they can use this frantic vibe that's out here to justify curbing your quote unquote human and civil rights. All right, so Revelation 12:12, therefore rejoice, you heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. That's right. Woe unto you, for many great miseries shall be done to you, and latter time shall dwell in the world. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. Why? For the devil, who's the devil? So-called white man, Esau/Edom. In particular, you so-called Jews. And we're going to keep saying it. Hey, look, man, you're going to have to kill us. But guess what? The issues of death belong to the Heavenly Father. We're going to continue to preach the truth. You can deplatform us. You can get us fired from the job. Hey, we're built for the battle. We're soldiers for Hamashiach. Hey, and you didn't try it before. Hey, myself, I've already experienced this. I experienced this going on 10 years ago. Getting fired from my job, people threatening to put my information outside of gyms to prevent me from getting hired. Hey, but guess what? The Heavenly Father has used this business to sustain me. So you can't stop nobody that practices in truth. For the devil has come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time. This devil know what time it is. He knows time's up. What's the biggest sign of him knowing that his time is up? Us being out here in great boldness. And people actually taking it seriously. And because before he could just he could just disregard us. Okay, well, they're the real Jews, but nobody will ever believe them. Look at them. But now people are taking this very seriously. You have entertainers, whether they be athletes, and we've seen Kanye West. Which he's not an athlete, but he's an entertainer. We've seen Kanye West. I meant to say Kyrie Irving, Deshaun Jackson. She's an athlete from Long Beach, football player. We saw the entertainer Nick Cannon. So there's all these people that are awakening to the fact that they're Israelites. Tiffany Haddish, they all know. They all know, and they all agree that we are the Israelites. Now, what Esau is trying to do is to separate our people from who they are, pluck off the skin. But see, it's not going to work as it pertains to the elect. So let's grab this in Job 18 and 17. His remembrance shall perish from the earth, and he shall have no name in the street. Right, that's going to happen to these so-called white people. Oh yeah, this is Hitler like. Hey, well, the Heavenly Father, you thought Hitler was bad. You hear what the Heavenly Father got to say about you so-called Jewish people? And it's funny too, because they be online, them so-called Jews, calling this man something else. They call them Palestinians Amalekites. Ain't that something? He shall be driven from light into darkness. That's what's taking place. You're being driven from light into darkness. Because one of the organizations that the so-called Jew in particular goes under is the what? The Illuminati. See, the light of the wicked is being put out, as it says earlier in the chapter. So he shall be driven from light into darkness and chased out of the world. Right, you're getting chased out of the world because the majority of the earth's population, they're standing with the Palestinians. They're against you so-called Jews and you so-called white people in general. Why? Because upon whom have not thy wickedness passed continuously? Pursuant to the book of Isaiah, the 14th chapter, Nahum, the 3rd chapter, was that speaking in particular about Babylon. And Babylon is the seat of this quote-unquote white supremacist empire, because these different nations, these different European nations, in particular Western European nations, whether it be the UK, France, Germany, they really get their funding from where? They get their funding from America. They get their military equipment from where? From America. So your ass is being chased out of the world, and there's nothing you can do to prevent it. And you're going to try to point the finger at us, but what's going to happen? It's going to backfire. And you're going to continue to get chased out of the world. Let me get these last few precepts. He shall neither have son nor nephew among his people, nor any remaining in his dwellings. That's right. So you're talking about, oh, these are genocidal rants. These are extermination. This is extermination rhetoric. Well, the most extermination rhetoric as it pertains to you so-called white people, starting with you so-called Jews, is contained in the Holy Bible. As they that went before or started. Woo, Job 8 and 22. They that hate God, that's beautiful. And that's the time that we're in. See, the dwelling place of the wicked is going to come to naught, and there's nothing you can do to stop your eventual extermination. So, hey, keep going with it, man. Bring it on, devil. All right. So, all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Shai. Shalom.